But anyway, last time we were together, Keiichi Maebara defeated the final boss. You might even say he beat the final boss. So now, it's on to happier times for Keiichi Maebara and his group of friends who only wanted their happy days back. We finally got him, everybody! We did it. Let's see how well this turned out. At first, I thought it was a dream. I was staring at the strange sheet, not really understanding what it was. That was all. I didn't go after it, nor did I ridicule it. The fact was, the boring view was the ceiling of my room, but I didn't realize that for a very long time. Yes, I thought I had been dreaming, but I had actually been staring at the ceiling the whole time. Lethargy induced by the voices of the cicadas. Even after I realized I was awake, I couldn't draw forth the energy to sit up. Everything I could see, everything I could hear, everything was like a television broadcast that had already ended. It was hot. So hot I could choke on the heat. My back was moist with night sweats, and it felt gross. At least it wasn't butt sweats, dude. Did you ever get... You don't want to get one of those gnarly butt sweats in the middle of the night. Unable to endure it any longer, I tossed my futon, and finally, blood started coursing through my brain. I lazily recalled the long day I had yesterday. The reality, as I lay there listening to the voices of the cicadas, and yesterday, so different from it. In order to kill Sotoko's uncle, I had rehearsed, formulated a plan, and dug a hole. It was very hot, and I was very tired, wasn't I? And when evening came, I went to school and called him out with the phone. I panicked for a moment when he asked where the police station was, but it worked out. And then I awaited him and swooped down. I couldn't remember any more what sort of emotions I'd let control my body. In any case, it didn't go smoothly, but I did it. It was very hard to dig the hole for the body. That feel of the rain pelting down on me, I don't think I'll ever forget it. The rain, the mud, and the sprays of blood. This boy's a rapper now. Rain, the mud, the sprays of the blood. Yeah, he got it. Yeah, he got him a career if he wants it. The sensation of a floundering in a swamp. When I met Takano-san on the way home, that wasn't good, no matter how I interpreted it. It was the most misfortunate and uncalculated thing that had happened that night. Everything would have been perfect if only I hadn't encountered her. I was riding my bike with a shovel in one hand through the downpour, utterly soaked. There was no way someone could surmise that I was a murderer burying a body just from that information. Nobody would ever fucking guess. Now that I was thinking calmly, napping under the morning sun, that's what I thought. Still, the more I think about Takano-san's eyes, her big, dopey eyes, it seemed like she understood. Takano-san, she knew that I'd killed someone, buried them, and that I had been on my way home exhausted. Takano-san wouldn't gain anything from selling me out to the police. But that didn't mean I could feel at ease. I'd crossed such a bridge to get my tranquil life back, and I'd finally achieved it as a result. But now, for the rest of my life, for all the tranquil days starting today, I'd have to live in fear when they would suddenly come to an end. I may have twisted my ankle, dulled from total exhaustion. The fact that I couldn't make the snap judgment I needed to, I regretted it more and more as it went on. You didn't have a choice, Keiichi Maebara. You didn't have a choice at the time. You were tired, you were a mess. Even if you had made the decision, you might not have been able to kill her. She might have just beaten you instead. I think Takano could have beat Homeboy's ass. She just strikes me as the type of girl that's like, right, I look dopey as hell, but when I start to throw in the fists, you're gonna feel it. She is the type to give a stone cold stunner on the roof of a car and not give a fuck. That's what she does. She might have just beaten you instead. In that sense, parting ways uneventfully could have been the safer option. No matter how sharp Takano-san's intuition was, she had no proof. Her suspecting me didn't amount to evidence in and of itself.
理屈じゃ分かってるさ。でも、だからって何の心配もないってわけじゃないだろう。
But just worry about it when the time comes. Now isn't the time to be worrying. It's time to be smiling! There we go. We've even got smiling music going. Everybody, you can put those worries to bed. Everything's over. Just smile, everybody. Come on. I want to see your smiles in chat. Let's go. Let's see some smiles. We're doing it. Look at this. Look at this. Look how happy of a day this is going to be. You accomplished so much just to gain a new life starting the day, didn't you? Then you should be happy at this new morning. If remembering the past is too hard for you, then just consider everything up until yesterday as having never happened. You said it yourself. You'd bury it all like it never happened. Well, your wish came true. Everything before yesterday never happened. So be happy, Keiichi Maibara!
Aye.
Yeah! I stuck up my hands lazily. It felt a little silly for me to be the one doing it. I heaved a sigh from deep in my belly. That sigh from my lungs and moving. It felt like I hadn't been breathing until just now. It wasn't enough to admonish myself over. All the dice that had been thrown already had been, and the numbers turned up weren't bad at all. If I lost with those numbers, then I'd just have to give up, I guess. I grabbed the chest of my pajamas and flapped it back and forth. Cool air flowed over my sweating body. Okay, nothing before yesterday happened. Nothing. Nothing at all. I'd forget it all. Yesterday was all a dream. What time is it? About midday? Getting myself up and going to school this late seemed kind of absurd, but I needed to go. I felt like going to school would be the first step into my peaceful new life. I didn't care how late it was. I would go. I'd go to school right now and get back to the life I had retaken as soon as I could. My lazy body immediately became lighter at the thought. I rolled up out of the futon, bounced onto my knees, and leapt upright.
10.0
Stuck the landing. He stuck the landing, everybody. I stuck out my chest with pride at my gymnast-like pose, then took a deep breath of fresh air. The brisk morning air had been gone a while, replaced with the crisp air of summer. Yeah, why aren't there clock hands at some point? I think because they don't want to commit to a time, because it's a murder mystery, and, like, I don't think that they want you looking at that time being a factor. That's why I think that there aren't hands on the clock. Because believe me, that's something we noticed with Onikakushi, is that there aren't hands on Keiichi's clock, and I think that that's the reason. Downstairs, I got a stern talking to by my mother. Where were you last night? When did you get back? You need to tell me when you won't be home for dinner. Things like that. But considering the importance of what I had accomplished yesterday, a little scolding was no problem. In fact, it even felt like the sort of thing that would happen in such a peaceful life. Clocks are worthless. I listened with an irresponsible smile and stepped out into the sun high overhead. It was around the time lunch break would be ending. Everyone would probably be worrying about me. I didn't go to the festival, and now I wasn't at school. Well, maybe they weren't too worried about it. Snoopy arms are cooler than boring arms. Since they would have gotten a small piece of news, but happy one, from Satoko today. Yes, the small piece of news that her uncle hadn't come home last night. Satoko would probably live her days in nervous tension for a while, thinking that he might still come home, but eventually those days would end. And finally, Satoko too would realize her uncle was never coming back. And then Rika-chan would quietly invite her. She would say, "You can come live with me again," and everything would be back to normal. Our lives would go back to how they were from before that man appeared. Satoko would start wearing that extraordinary smile, complete with those protruding canines and a full and fool anyone with those traps she was so proud of. I'd probably be her first target out of everyone, but I wouldn't mind. In fact, I might actually shed tears of joy at the return of something so normal. Satoko, she'd gradually grow back into the meddlesome personality of hers. I mean, my lack of useful life skills was already completely exposed. I wondered if I'd ever be a match for Satoko. But would she be such a pleasant thing? But that would be such a pleasant thing to see. And with such warm, fuzzy predictions, I didn't feel bad for going to school late. In fact, I wanted to run there now to get there as soon as I could. Instead, I decided to savor the peacefulness of just going to school like normal without running. The world I'd obtained for myself just gave me joy just by walking like this. Yes, the world beginning on this very day was something I had won. Without that monumental feat yesterday, I would never have been able to come to school so cheerfully today. The school gate came in sight. Just then, I heard the principal ringing the bell to mark the end of lunch break. It was a clear, refreshing sound. I stopped despite myself and let myself take it in. Tap. No, it's Tug! Hey, June! Welcome. You're just in time. We're reclaiming our happy school life. Happy days are here again. If the happy music was not an indication. Okay, he's going a different route today, it seems. We've been tugging up until now. Now we just gonna tap it. What's he got, like a pocket pussy or something in his pocket? What's going on here? I had stopped suddenly, so there was an extra footstep. Oh, damn. Oh, that's right. You're having Ethernet problems. I hope that gets sorted soon. Because, man, that really sucks having that particular issue. With the noise, the blessedness I was feeling throughout my whole body withdrew into any pore it could find. And as if to replace it, I felt like hundreds of hairy caterpillars were crawling up my feet. I turned back, but of course, nobody was there. A single footstep could easily bend my imagination. But the footstep felt so ominous. The extra footstep I had heard after seeing Takano-san off last night, with everything that had happened on that insane night, I didn't mind something like that happening once. It had been a hell of a night after all. In fact, having just one hallucination was pretty fortunate, but those footsteps should have ended with yesterday, so if I heard them again today... Hey, Zorilla! Holy crap! With the 45-person rate. Jesus Weezus. Hello, fellow Zeppelin. Hello, fellow Zeppelin pals. Love me some Zorilla 33. Zorilla streaming again. You been sick, buddy. I know you've been sick. I hope everything's well. I hope you're feeling much better than you have been. Welcome, as I said, fellow Zeppelin pals. Thank you so much for coming by. We are reading a visual novel, and I know that probably doesn't sound like the most exciting thing in the world. But thank you all the same for popping on by. It's going to be fun. We got a bunch of Zeppelin enthusiasts in chat now. It's going to be great. But yeah, glad to hear that you're feeling better, Zorilla. I was worried. I was worried about you. But we are reading a psychological horror visual novel. I should also point out that this particular arc pertains to some very difficult subjects involving child abuse. And the game doesn't really shy away from presenting that in a kind of a real way. So if that's something that might squick you out a little bit, in terms of like the PTSD that someone goes through from that kind of thing, yeah. I'll understand if you don't want to stick around. Also, it's like a very layered and deep storyline, so I'll understand why coming in and like the third game might not be the most easy thing to catch up with either. But we'll do what we can to get you. We'll do what we can to get you going. Right now, we killed somebody, and we might be going crazy because of it. But we're gonna pretend we're not, because happy days are here again because we killed somebody. That's the gist of things where we're at right now. Hey, John, welcome. Welcome. I hope you are feeling better as well. There was really one thing that could have meant. Last night still wasn't over. It was still going. Still. That insane night. Forever. The step I heard was just one extra footstep. Was quietly ridiculing the nonsensical. I was quietly ridiculing that nonsensical notion that the world starting today was completely different from the one that ended yesterday. My classmates playing in the schoolyard all vanished inside the tide. When I approached the school, it felt like the warm, fuzzy scene had ended, and it didn't feel good. At the entrance, I took a quick look at everyone's shoeboxes. Satoko Hojo, she was here. Mion was here too, and Rena, of course. Even Rika-chan was here. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were here. In fact, I didn't see any missing classmates. If there were shoes missing, they would have been my own. Took my shoes off and stuck them in, and then took out some slippers. There was a single pair left in the shoeboxes anymore. With that, they returned to their rightful state. But as I stepped onto the wooden floor, I noticed that there was one pair of slippers left. Huh.
Hojo Satoshi.
Yo, is he back? Satoshi, who had never been to school since disappearing last year, until now we had committed the exact same act of violence. But I guess in the very end, it went differently. You couldn't make it to school, but here I am. I didn't repeat the same mistake you made. I wasn't able to let myself feel superior about that. In fact, I felt an odd sense of familiarity with him, a misfortunate bond, with someone I'd never met due to following the same fate. I headed down the hallway towards the usual classroom. It felt like it had been a whole year since coming here. Hey, did you forget Keiichi Maibara? Satoshi Hojo didn't really disappear on the night of Watanagashi, did he? Uh-oh. Oh no, it's starting to click! Satoshi Hojo disappeared a few days later, on Satoko's birthday, if I was right. I didn't know what it was, but I couldn't say for sure that I avoided Satoshi's failure unless I remained here past that day. I was still living in the night of that night of insanity. Also, again, I'll approach to anybody. I'll apologize to anybody coming in, both, fresh and from Zorilla's kind raid. Having some allergy problems today, so I sound like garbage. Apologies. Yeah, the last week or so has been misery for allergies, so it's been a little rough getting through these. The teacher still hadn't come to the classroom. The other door clattered open, the one the teacher wouldn't use, so everyone turned at once to see who had arrived. Everyone looked pretty vacant. I suppose I'll greet them. Pretend you're happy. Silence. Nobody likes your dumb joke. It's like After 5 going in, making a joke. Literally the entire chat giving him neutral face. When I started to think I'd fallen flat, someone finally started laughing for me.
Ohayo, Kei-chan. Kei-san mo tobashiteru ne. Tobashiteru ne. Keiichi-kun, mada omatsuri kibun ga nukete nai no kamoshirenai.
Hearing me out on Rena's cheerful voices made me realize how dumb those dark feelings I had been having at the entrance really were. At the festival at all, remember? Before I could say that, Rika-chan smiled at me.
Keiichi wa chanto boku no enbu mitete kuremashita desu ka?
Yes! I very did!
Chanto miteta yo. Anna ni ippai hakushu shite kurete ta no ni, Rika-chan kizukanakatta no kana?
Uh-oh.
Kei-chan ni Shion no yatsu ga chokkai dashite kita no o mushi shite ne.
Uh-oh.
Shion, zama wa nakatta. Ii kibun.
Mion starts laughing at the memory as she slaps me a few times on the back.
それで、あの射的屋の対決って結局どうなったんですか?
Tomita-kun was facing me and talking. There was nobody behind me. That meant he was talking to me?
あれは結局、富田家がビリだったのですよ。
Or we're just gonna talk about this casually now.
みんなで楽しく罰ゲームをしましたです。
リカちゃんも実質ビリみたいなもんだったじゃない。
I like how she worded it
そ
that
こで
Tomitake-san
大技でガムをゲットと
ended up dead
さ
last.
すがは我が部の部員。見事だったよ。
Crying at a time like that is a feat only Furude would be allowed to do. Okamura-kun breathing heavily from his nose. In my direction, everyone laughed. If anyone but Rika-chan had done it, it would have been against the rules. Rika-chan gave one of her Nipa smiles as she listened to it. In my direction. Rena too turned towards me. And then, with a somewhat embarrassed smile, she whispered to me so only I could hear.
でも本当にありがとう、ケイチ君。
何がだよ。
あのでっかいぬいぐるみすっごく嬉しかった。大事に枕元に置いてるんだよ。ちゃんと寝る前にお休みのキスしちゃった。
Oh, we can't redeem Nippons today right now because my voice just can't do it. Allergies have got my throat really jacked up pretty bad, as if it's not obvious. So I just decided I will not give a half-hearted Nipah. The class laughed at that, cheering and jeering. This whole time, the conversation had been a little off. I wasn't quite getting it.
ぬいぐるみがどうしたって？
どうしたって、ほら昨日のお祭りでみんなで頑張って落としたよ。でっかいぬいぐるみ。
I mean, just the nip. Just the nip, right? We can have just the nip.
でっかいぬいぐるみ。
Rena seemed taken aback, but when she answered, she did it with a smile.
なかなか倒せないから機体を狙ったり素早く何発も撃ったりしていろいろと試したんだよね。それでケイチ君、鉄砲を何丁もあらかじめ用意して素早く撃ってみせてくれたんだよね。かっこよかった。
Wait.
あの後の飲み会でさ、町内会の会長連中にもケイちゃんの評判すごく良かったんだよ。ケイちゃんの売り工場に惚れたって騒いでたのは子供会の君吉徳蔵会長だったかな。次の祭りではぜひケイちゃんに何店舗か任せたいって言ってた。
徳蔵はお祭りの実行委員会の模擬店部長さんなのです。
Maibara-san is great at making things sound good, isn't he? Yep, whenever he talks about something, it seems a lot better than it actually is. You can't say that.
ケイチ君って売り子さんの才能があるんだね。きっとバナナの叩き売りとかやったら上手だと思うよ。
I bet he could sell metal ball bats.
さっきから何の話だよ。だいたい俺
Didn't go to the festival in the first place. I swallowed those words. I didn't know exactly why, but in Hinamizawa, this is what happened. Yesterday, during the Watanagashi festival, Keiji Maibara had appeared, and he had romped about with all of the usual members of his club. He had made a big scene at a few of the stalls, snatched a few sticks of takoyaki from an okonomiyaki in his glee, rating each of them as delicious or terrible to get everyone excited. And they'd seen a gigantic stuffed animal at a target practice game, and everyone went after it. And then I got a whole bunch of court guns, firing them in rapid succession, throwing each one away after using it. And admirably, I shot down the biggest stuffed animal there, and then I gave the stuffed animal the proof of my victory to Rena as a gift. Then our fun came to a close, and we had to see Rika-chan's offertory dance. There was a ton of people squeezed in there. We all got separated, but we each managed to get into good positions to cheer Rika-chan on. Then, in the middle, when Shion came up and asked me to go hang out with her instead of watching the dedication dance, I refused and stayed put, watching the dance until the very end. But who? Who was that? Well, everyone's been saying it, haven't they? Keiichi Maibara. I had an urge to yell in anger at my classmates for having so much fun talking about the festival yesterday was Keiichi Maibara. What the hell are you guys even talking about? Far stronger than that feeling, though, was the sheer uncanny nature of this reality I couldn't understand. A Keiichi Maibara who wasn't me was in Hinamizawa yesterday, as I threw away my humanity, turned into a demon, and was busy beating Satoko's uncle to death. I was having a great time at the festival last night. What the hell? I had to suffer through so much, desperately holding back tears, getting so worn out, in that downpour, digging holes, chasing, beating, killing, dragging, and burying. Who was this Keiichi Maibara who had ignored me so and spent such a fun, carefree time at the festival? Damn it! Who the hell stood in for me as I put my life on the line, working so hard to achieve this treasure-like everyday life? If there was another Keiichi Maibara besides me, then what was I? On the night of Watanagashi, where one died and one disappeared in accordance with Oyashiro-sama's curse, there was only a demon who had killed someone. Dumbfounded, as I succumbed to a horrifying possibility, I looked around at my classmates to make sure there was nobody extra I didn't recognize among them, to make sure I wasn't among them. It was a horrifying thought, that the real Keiichi Maibara hadn't overslept and had come to school on time, and that I, who was no longer Keiichi Maibara, had just waltzed in here. But no matter how much I checked, the only people here are the ones I knew. The man I met every time I looked in the bathroom mirror was not here. Oh, that's all we need. We just need some curry to make this right.
午後の授業を始めますよ。皆さん、席に戻ってください。委員長、号令。
The teacher entered and everyone hurried to their seats. Upon finding me, who was stupidly late, she gave me a stern talking to, but I wasn't listening to it. Wasn't our old life supposed to start today? Something wasn't right. It was just strange. I was supposed to go back to my old fun life after yesterday. I had set foot in an incomparably mysterious world that was completely different from both my old life and my recent one. Yes, this was without a doubt a different world than the one I'd been living in until now. There was no way such an absurd thing could be possible. But unless it was true, I couldn't explain anything that just happened. In this classroom, I was surrounded by so many faces I knew, and yet I felt isolated. The cicadas sounded no different than they had before, but they seemed somehow false. The air was parched and dry, too, making me think, was the air in Hinamizawa always this uncomfortable?
Oi, Rena.
何かな？授業中なんだよ。
昨日の祭りだけどさ、俺いつ頃みんなと合流したっけ？
To be honest, I was pretty excited afterwards, and I gobbled down some cans of beer. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, but I don't quite remember some things. For random babbling, it wasn't a bad excuse.
ケイイチ君、最初は来れないって言ってたんだよね。みーちゃんの家にそう電話したんでしょ？
That matched. I called Mion and told her to take Satoko in my place, since I wouldn't be able to meet up with them due to things I had to do.
さとこちゃんを誘ってあげようっていうのは、みんなでお祭りの準備をしてた時に決めたんだよ。少しでもおじさんの姿の見えないところに連れ出してあげようと思って。
That was the same too. Mion said that when I called her, that everyone had already decided to invite her.
それでみんなでレナとみーちゃんとリカちゃんでさとこちゃんの家に行ってさとこちゃんを連れ出して、さとこちゃんのおじさんすっごく意地悪そうな人だった。
That part didn't matter. What I was trying to ask was...
いつ合流したんだ？
そんなことも忘れちゃってるの？
How could I forget that?
ケイイチ君、だから祭りの前の日は よく寝た方がいいよって言ったのに。
だから俺はいつ合流したんだよ。
At my sudden threatening demand, Rena was at a loss for words. Oops, I shouldn't have rushed that. I told her I was sorry.
境内でだよ。ひょっこりとリカちゃんと話してたじゃない。
うん。巫女さん姿のリカちゃんと楽しそうに話してた。それでレナも加わって「はうんお持ち帰り」って。
リカちゃんと話してたのか。
ケイちゃん用事か何かがあったんじゃないって私が聞いたらさ、ケイちゃん胸を叩きながら自分で言ったじゃないのよ。用事なんかより祭りで大暴れする方が大切だぜって。
This is exactly how I remember it. I didn't say that. I never said anything like that. I never even went to the shrine grounds yesterday to begin with. I never had the time to stop by a place like that. I went to dig the hole as soon as I woke up. I had a pretty hard time doing it. After that, I snuck into the school to make a call. I called him out and lay in wait. And then it started raining really hard. With that kind of downpour, the festival should have come to a halt. In other words, it ended then. From the time the festival started to when it ended, it would have been impossible for me to have swung by the shrine grounds. I was already there when Mion and the others dragged Satoko out and brought her to the shrine, and I was talking to Rika-chan. Then, where would Rika-chan say we met? The teacher went to wash her hands, so I ran over to Rika-chan's desk and asked her directly.
圭一とですか？
あ、リカちゃんはミオンたちが来る前から俺と話してたんだろ。いつ俺に会ったんだ。いつどこでだよ。
圭一が何を聞きたいのかわからないのです。
俺昨日寝不足で半分頭がぼーっとなっててさ、何も覚えてないんだよ。
It looked like Rika-chan bought into my babbling.
圭一と会ったのは集会所から村長さんたちと出てきた時なのです。圭一は西宮殿の扉の前にいましたのですよ。
え、何？西宮殿？
I'd never heard of a building called that before. Probably for the best, my boy! The teacher went to wash her hands. Yes, she did, John. Or maybe I have, but at the very least, I wouldn't know where on the shrine grounds it was.
村長さんがそこは神聖な場所だからみだりに近寄ってはならにゅうと怒りましたですよ。圭一、それも忘れてしまいましたですか？
I was too scared to ask any more. The more I asked, the more it became clear without any doubt that Keiichi Maibara was present at the Furude Shrine grounds during the Watanagashi festival. The clearer that became, the more doubts, no, fears I had. Who on earth was I yesterday? Whoever that was, he had a good time in my place and managed to go the entire day without letting them notice I wasn't there. Alright, when did that person leave everyone? This morning my mother got mad at me for having stayed out so late last night, which meant, at the very least, that Keiichi Maibara hadn't come home while my mother was still awake. The festival would have been closed because of the downpour. If I recall right, when I went back to the house's storage room to get another shovel, I think the clock said 7. Since it was already raining hard by then, the festival would have had to close down before 7. If I had returned that early, I would have definitely run into my parents. Or at the very least, they wouldn't have asked me when I got back last night. Exactly. Like, sometimes you're in the middle of teaching everybody about how meatloaf is made. You gotta go wash your hands. So the Keiichi Maibara from yesterday, that meant he never went home. That meant the downpour happened, the festival was broken up, everyone left. But he didn't go back to the house. That means... When I arrived at the natural conclusion, a wicked chill suddenly froze my spine and climbed up to my brain. That meant Keiichi Maebara was the same as Satoshi. One day, he never went home. On the night of Watanagashi, he never went home. The downpour interrupted the festival, and on the way home, he suddenly disappeared. And I, who was dealing with the corpse, went home without a problem. I was so tired I wasn't even hungry, so I went up to my room without a sound and crawled into my futon. Who was I? That much was obvious. It was a proper COVID-19 procedure, yes! Keiichi Maebara. Keiichi Maebara was me. That may have been another one, but that doesn't negate the fact that I was Keiichi Maebara. Then, that other Keiichi Maebara was what? The voices of the cicadas steadily filling the classroom were beginning to bother me. Suddenly, I laid eyes on Satoko. Satoko's expression was dark as always. She seemed completely exhausted at a life of agony she couldn't even imagine an ending to. What had last night been like for Satoko? Did she have fun with everyone and feel a little happier, if even for a moment? And when she went home, the end of her dream, she'd probably gone to sleep afraid of when her uncle would return. And then this morning, her uncle hadn't come home. And then she went to school. Right now, she must have been still trapped in the rotten idea from which she couldn't be saved, that her uncle would need her when she got back. But then, rest easy, Satoko. Your uncle won't ever be coming back. I couldn't tell her it was because I'd killed him. When Satoko realized on her own that her uncle would never return, then that would truly be the end of this long, insane night. That's right. I didn't do anything wrong. I did the best possible thing I could. I did the best thing I possibly could have as Satoko's Nini. Not an atom in my body regretted it. And look, calm down and think, Keiichi Maebara. From a certain point of view, isn't it convenient that there was another Keiichi Maebara? I buried the corpse perfectly. A beginning wouldn't happen. But if worst came to worst, and it got out, and the investigation got to me, I now had a strong alibi, able to profess the fact that I had been at the Watanagashi festival. But accepting something so creepy and using it as an alibi, still, if I proved I hadn't gone to the festival yesterday, it would do no good and a whole lot of harm. That was what left the really, actually bad aftertaste. You'll forget about it, Keiichi Maebara. Everything that happened before today, so just forget about the Keiichi Maebara who was there yesterday too. Instead, let's watch gently over Satoko for the day her smile returns, and the day that would mark the end of that insane, all too long night. Back. I'll be back in just a second, folks. Just a moment. Alright, sorry about that. Back to business.
皆さん、寄り道をしないでちゃんとお家へ帰るんですよ。委員長、号令。起立。礼。
Goodbye. I thought about many things and saw my thoughts dispersed by many other things. I hadn't known whether or not the time had been spent worrying or daydreaming, but either way, it had come to an end along with the class. Cheerfully, our classmates got their things and ran for the hallway. Mion, Rena, and Rika-chan were packing up as well. But what about Satoko? The whole day, she'd seemed deflated. Well, her uncle may not have returned last night, but she wouldn't have known he'd never returned. How much I wanted to express that fact to her. Satoko packed up her pencil box and math workbook messily, and after a dark glance at the clock, heaved a sigh. Then went to leave the classroom. Then, suddenly, somebody placed a hand on her shoulder and stopped her.
何ですの？ 私ちゃんと水やり当番もやりましたし、プリントだってちゃんと。
Her words possessed a persecution complex hurt. I spoke loudly so everyone could
なあ
hear.
みんな、さ、今日は久しぶりにやらないか、部活。
Satoko always had to tend to her uncle, so club had been on hiatus. In our minds, our club was proof of a calm, peaceful life. But enjoying being together, I wanted to make Satoko realize her days of darkness were over.
レナはいいよ。
そりゃまあ私は構わないけど、聡子がいいならね。
Under a condition. That was important. With everything up to her, Satoko gave a worried look.
なあ、聡子、久々にどうだよ。
We're getting back to club activities, everybody. It's back to happy fun times, like I
パッ
said.
とさ。
そのお気持ちは嬉しいでございますけど。
My uncle might already be home. Thus spoke her darkened eyes, her mouth
聡子も
unmoving.
さ、連日息が詰まるような生活をずっと続けててさ、もうそんなのは心にも体にも悪いだけだぜ。やっぱりたまにはパーッと弾けなきゃな。
放っておいてくださいまし。私だってそりゃ部活がまたやれたらと思っていますわよ。
With one word, but, she looked
みんな
down.
で遊んだ方が楽しいのは聡子だってよく知ってるだろ。俺たちは仲間だぜ。みんなで一緒に過ごすようにできてるんだよ。聡子だって昨日みんなでお祭りで騒いで楽しかったろ。
Rena nearly said something, but she was too late.
ケイチさん、何を言ってますの？
My arm on her shoulder seemed to weigh her down, and she threw it off.
私がお祭りで楽しく、いつ遊んだって言うんですの？
Uh-oh.
楽しく遊んだのはケイチさんだけじゃありませんの。
I looked over to Mion for help, but now everyone was looking down. My instincts told me that Satoko hadn't gone to the festival. Oh boy! Oh no! Oh no! We got a big ol' oopsie poopsie going. But Rena said it herself, that she went with Mion to Satoko's house to invite her.
さとこちゃん、途中で帰っちゃったの。神社には行かなかった。
どうして？
I realized the absurdity of what I had just said with Satoko in front of me.
おじが家で待ってるのに一人だけ遊んでると悪いって言って神社の直前で。
私たちも引き止めたんだよ。今日はおじさん公認だからちゃんと遊んでも怒られないんだよって。
At some point, tears had begun welling up in Satoko's eyes. Satoko was so afraid of her uncle that she couldn't even allow herself time with her friends and went home. No, she wasn't afraid of letting herself have a good time with her
ケイ
friends.
チさんはいいですわね。みんなで楽しくお祭り一夜を過ごせて。聞けば大層盛り上がって大活躍だったそうじゃないですの。お羨ましいことですわ。
Smiling to herself, her tears began to fall.
私には養わなければならないおじがいますの。
Just in time to put the entire shoe factory in his mouth. Welcome, Nerd. How's it going? How's it going? Good to see you. Yeah, yeah, that's about what he's doing right now. It's turning out about as graceful as you'd expect. It's quite the spectacle. Hey, does that sad face have a sprite on all the others? No, it doesn't. It doesn't look like. I think the sad face is just in the PlayStation or just in the Alchemist graphics.
ケイチさんみたいにご両親にのんびり養ってもらってる人とはわけが違いますですのよ。
聡子。
楽しくお祭りを過ごせてよかったですわね。
That wasn't supposed to happen and be as funny as it is. Well, I imagine what happened is while I was cycling through the graphics to see if there was a crying sprite for the other styles, I landed back on the potato graphics, and it finally found one to switch back to. Oh my god, that's good.
私の分まで楽しく過ごせて本当におよろしかったですこと。私だって部活がしたいですわ。みんなで楽しく大騒ぎして楽しくて楽しくて。でも今の私、そんなの。
Unable to withstand such violent emotion, a few teardrops slid down her cheek. But even though she was having such a terrible time, not once did she ever say that it was hard for her. It was a sad, obstinate bravery, but the days when Satoko had to feel like that were over. Satoko didn't need to endure it, to bear it anymore. She could forget all about it now and smile. I was so frustrated at not being able to tell her that directly. Instead, I said something that I'm not sure I should have said before I thought twice about it. Thank you for the clips. The words were deeply meaningful to me, but I didn't know if Satoko understood them.
帰ってこないって誰がですの？
ゆうべは帰らなかったんだろ。お前のお家は。
何を言ってますの、ケイイチさんは。
Satoko shouted with all her might.
あいつがいついなくなったって言うんですの？いつ？
落ち着けよ。だって昨日あいつは帰ってこなかったろ。
ケイイチさんが何を言ってるのか全然わかりませんでしたよ。
Oh boy.
佐藤こそ何を言ってんだよ。だってあの男は。
Keiichi, do you not hear the music? Is this not your indication to pump the brakes? I killed him. Killed him yesterday. Killed him for sure. I killed him real good. And I buried him. Buried him whole. Buried him real good. He could never have returned to his house.
昨日だって私にいっぱい意地悪して怒鳴ってわめいて当たり散らして作ったご飯を投げられた。お味噌汁もひっくり返された。暑かった。汚かった。そしてお掃除も私がした。私が
Oh boy! Oh boy! We've really done it. What? Our stories weren't matching up.
いる？
今朝だって朝ごはんの時起こせって言われたから起こしたのに怒られた。起こさなかったらまた怒るように起こしても怒られた。
Satoko.
Rika-chan went over to Satoko and said a few words of consolation. But Satoko angrily refused those words and thrust Rika-chan away.
いいに早く帰ってきてよ。
Crying, Satoko slowly walked out into the hallway. After a moment, Rika-chan went after her. I couldn't stop thinking about the words Satoko had spoken while crying. I buried her uncle last night, but she said this morning. That was impossible. I buried him last night, so she couldn't have seen her uncle this morning. What was Satoko? At that point, I heard Mion's cold voice.
ねえ、ケイちゃん。聡子のおじさんが帰ってこないって。
Nothing.
何?
I didn't mean nothing. I don't know. I don't even know what an uncle is. You can't prove it. I don't even have uncles. I said too much and let my emotions get the better of me.
レナも聞いたよ。聡子ちゃんのおじさんが帰ってこないって言った。
どうして？なんで帰ってこないの？
かしいよね。だって今朝もちゃんとさとこちゃんのおじさんはいるんだよ。なのになんで帰ってこないなんて言うのかな。
ケイちゃん、言ってることがさっきから変。
Suddenly, Mion and Rena started to speak in strange and creepy voices. What were they doing? What were they saying?
ケイちゃんはさとこのおじさんがいると何か都合が悪いことでもあるわ
Hello
け。
there, eyes. How are you doing?
お前らこそ何を言ってるんだ。さとこのおじなんかいない方がいいに決まってるだろうが。
Yeah, this is not an ideal situation. This is not an I win situation. Oh God, you two. Okay, good.
そ
Fantastic.
れはもちろんいない方がいいよね。よね。
Something wasn't right. The next thing I knew, Mion and Rena were smiling thinly, and their eyes were dark and muddy in a way that I'd never seen before. As our eyes met, that mud even seemed to fill the air.
さとこのおじは確かに嫌なやつだよね。私もいなくなった方がいいやつだと思うよ。でもさ、仕方ないじゃない。
Nothing we can do. Something's wrong. Something's clearly wrong here. What the hell was happening? After a minute, a chilly liquid-like feeling as though my blood had been mixed with sherbet, crawled up my
仕
spine.
方ないって、そりゃ仕方ないけど、でもそれじゃさとこが。
See, when I do the 07th mod, I just replace it with all the original stuff because I would just prefer it have all the original Japanese stuff in the original release.
仕方がなければどうするのかな。
Rena was trying to prompt me to say more. There really was no choice. So I killed him. I killed him to protect Satoko.
放っておきなよ。そのうち解決しちゃうと思うしさ。
さとこちゃんがおじさんがいるって言ってるんだからいる。ちゃんと昨日もいたし今朝もいる。そうならそうでいいんじゃないかな。
Mion and Rena were speaking unbelievably dismissively. How could they be talking like that? Mion and Rena, like they were my friends, were seriously worried about Satoko's abuse, weren't they? They would never blurt out something like this. And I definitely killed Satoko's uncle. No matter what Satoko or anyone else says, I wouldn't acknowledge it because him being alive was impossible. There is no way he is alive. It was impossible, and yet, since Satoko herself had said he was there, that he was alive. I didn't know why or how, but suddenly Mion and Rena were at my sides, standing there silently.
帰ろうよ、ケイちゃん。
帰ったらね、今日は久しぶりにレナ宝探しに行くつもりなんだ。みーちゃんも来るんだよ。
ケイちゃんも一緒に行こう。
We're gonna go treasure hunting, everybody! We're going back to the dump! That's probably a good thing to do.
もちろん拒否権は。
Yeah, it's such an innocuous little phrase, but depending on how you intonate it, it becomes like either very, very cute or very, very creepy. If words could freeze blood, then there was no doubt that they would have frozen me solid. I could hear it, a layer of thin ice, the sound of all my muscles tensing. And with them closely at my sides, we left the school as if there were police officers taking me away. I talked about silly things the entire way home, like they always did, but they always stood at my sides as if to prevent me from escaping. This was strange. Everything about this day was strange. Actually, it had been strange ever since the previous night. Yes, thinking back, it had been strange ever since killing Satoko's uncle. That creepy meeting with Takano-san was only the beginning. That insane night was still continuing. and yet it still hadn't ended.
何？どうしたのケイちゃん。急に立ち止まったりして。
あ、ごめん。なんでもないよ。
When I stopped, it was distant, but I definitely heard them. An extra set of footsteps. That was proof. The proof that insane night hadn't ended. Mion left where she usually did, and finally we came to my house.
じゃあね、ケイチくん。お家で待っててね。
Wait here.
レナ、すぐに迎えに行くから。
It'll be great. What was it? She was inviting me along to one of her oversized garbage treasure hunts at the dam site, right? But why now? Mion coming along was strange too. Mion may have accepted Rena's little hobby, but she hated fishing through garbage, so she'd never come with her before. And the location specifically being the dam site was a little creepy. The dam construction was completely outside the flow of everyday life. It was so remote that no one ever went there unless they thought to in particular. Nobody lived there, and there were no lights, so at night it got very dark quickly. I was being forcibly invited there. There was no reason I had to fear Rena and Mion. Besides, would the trouble I'd make by refusing them be a pain to deal with? In that way, it didn't seem like going treasure hunting with them was a bad idea, but that insane night was continuing. Haven't the sirens of instinct been wailing in my mind for a while now? Warning me that Rena and Mion were strange? That I needed to be cautious? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy! The warning sirens were so freaking loud it felt like my head would split in two.
あ、レナ、俺、実はちょっと用事があるんだ。
用事？何の？
なんのって、用事だよ、用事。
用事なら、なんでみーちゃんがいるうちに言ってくれなかったの？
Everyone start acting as weird as possible! This never ends poorly.
みーちゃんとはダム現場で待ち合わせって言って別れちゃった後なのに。
Rena was smiling, but her words made her discomfort clear.
ごめん。ちょっと言い出すタイミングを逃しちゃって。
本当に？
You're lying, aren't you? You just made that up now, you liar. That's what Rena's eyes said to me.
俺、頭が痛いんだ。
Why does anybody think they can get away with lying to Rena? Like, that's the worst. She has a lie detector that is more accurate than any actual machine built for that purpose.
風邪かもしれない。だから病院に行って薬をもらってきたいんだよ。
本当に？
Oh no. Okay, that's when you stop lying. Just stop, Keiichi. Don't dig this hole any further. That wasn't really a lie. My head did hurt a little, so I wasn't lying. Rena, she couldn't figure out if my head hurt or not just by looking at it.
なら仕方ないね。
After staring me in the eyes for a few minutes, she fired a sharp, needle-like stare at me. The tension in my body loosened, and I felt like my knees might buckle.
診療所に行くなら早く行った方がいいと思うよ。あそこたまに早く閉まるから。
ありがとう。そうするよ。
必ず行くんだよ。病院。
行くよ。
本当に行くんだよ。
行く。
It seemed like Rena had realized that I was going to refuse her invitation for a while now. With how serious she looked, she might actually call the clinic later to make sure I went. I couldn't say anything careless. Lying about getting checked out was just an excuse to decline her request in the first place. It didn't matter whether I actually went.
ちゃんと行くよ。なんなら明日病院のレシートを持って行ってもいい。
それいいね。
No, that's not what you're supposed to say!
必ずもらっておいてね。
No, that makes it worse!
レナ、明日見るから。
Oh no! Oh no! Another tingle started crawling up my back. There was no ignoring it. Rena and Neon must have been monitoring my movements. That wasn't normal. Far from it. All of it was insane. I did what I did because I wanted my peaceful life back. But What on earth was all this? It was far from peaceful. Something had gone mad, leaving the world out of order. With the other Keiichi Maebara. With those creepy footsteps I've been hearing. With Rena and me on acting so curious. And above all, with him being alive. Where was I? Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone. I knew that much. Was this really the Hinamizawa I knew?
Oi, Maebara Keiichi. Koko wa doko nanda?
Keiichi is... It is true that Keiichi Maebara is a wordsmith. It's just sometimes the words that he smiths are the ones that he shouldn't. I asked, whipping around before the front door, to face the one who has been following in my wake all day. Nobody would have been there, of course. Keiichi Maebara, huh? That's what I called him. I called the one who had been trailing behind me this whole time. That shadowy presence, always clinging to me, like it was constantly watching for the opportunity to change places. Footsteps always following me was another impossibility. It couldn't have been a ghost, so it was just impossible. So the strangeness must have been my ears, my head, or Hinamizawa. Everything I could see was the same exact Hinamizawa I knew so well, and that gave me the creeps. Eventually I decided to actually go to the clinic. I really didn't want to go outside, but a stronger feeling that was the desire of fear that Rena might actually be keeping an eye on me to see if I went to the hospital. But before I went to the clinic, there was something I wanted to make sure of. It was at school. I pretended I'd forgotten something and was going back to the classroom to pick it up. Be right back again. As soon as the thought crossed my mind, I was overwhelmed by paranoia. I was going to the classroom, but I hated it so much, having to be so careful to fake it. After carefully verifying once more that nobody was watching, I went over to the locker. Yes, Satoshi's locker. I committed the crime with the bat I found in the locker, Satoshi's bat. And then I had thrown the bat into the swamp, which meant the bat shouldn't have been inside, but what if the bat was still in here? It was a very dreadful, incomprehensible idea, but if it was true, it would explain a lot. If the bat was in here, yesterday's events would have all been a delusion. No, an illusion. I hadn't killed anyone, and I'd gone to the festival. I had a great time rampaging about with everyone. It would prove that Keiichi Maebara was really me. Proof that I was only under some strange assumption that I had killed Satoko's uncle. Proof that it had all been a wild fantasy. That would explain everything. Nothing happened yesterday. I had just gone mad, unable to separate my shocking uncle-killing dream from reality. You ever just have an uncle-killing dream? Yeah, who thinks it's there? What's chat's overall consensus? Is the bat going to be in the locker? All right. Here we go. That would explain everything. If the bat was here, would I be able to accept that reality? If it was here, nothing will have changed. If it was here, it would just mean I'd gone crazy. Preparing myself for the worst, I opened the locker door. I was actually scared of opening it slowly, so I threw it open with a bang. And just like the first time, the choking scent of smell... The choking scent of smell... Wow, that's a weird... The choking scent of smell and sweat, like a stale towel, came flowing out. There was a baseball uniform and some miscellaneous other things like notebooks. There was also a shoe pouch. And as for the bat, it wasn't there. It was how I left it when I took the bat out. The scent of smell. The uncle's in the locker, somehow shaped like a bat. That would be creative. There was no doubt yesterday really happened. Now that I knew I wasn't a lunatic, I felt relieved. But at the same time, if I wasn't the crazy one, and Hinamizawa was, and that was the evidence of a reality I found just as difficult to accept. There was a noise somehow creeping into everything I saw, and the world was losing a tiny bit of color. So what did I know about last night now? Now that I'd made sure the bat wasn't there, I didn't need to be here anymore. Shall I go? For real to the hospital? all this scent is smell. All this dampness is damp. It was my first time going to the hospital, but from what I'd heard, it wasn't far from school. My mom had told me there was a big, easy-to-see road that went straight there. I went past the shopping street, made a turn. It wasn't overly hard to spot the sign with Irie Clinic written on it. There was one other person, an older man there in an air-conditioned waiting room. I went up to the counter and told them that it was my first time here. The man behind the counter glanced at the clock and said there'd be a short wait. It was almost 5. Clinic hours would be ending soon. As I sat in the unfamiliar waiting room, isolated from everyone, and let myself feel the cool air, I actually felt relieved. What should I tell the doctor when he comes? I could tell him that I had a cold, but it was a very picture of health. Actually, I wanted him to check my head. I wanted to confirm for me whether I was really sane or not.
前原圭一さん、診察室へお入りください。
Huh? The voice from the other side of the examination curtain. I thought I'd heard it somewhere before.
こんにちは。
Hey there, suit man. How's it going?
ここでお会いするのは初めてですね。
監督ってお医者さんだったんですか?
Now that you mention it, he did seem to know his way around when he was looking at my shoulder in the nurse's office. It would make sense if he was actually a doctor. Come to think of it, our teacher called him Irie-sensei, didn't she?
一応お医者さんなんかやっています。お医者さんはいいですよ。若いすべすべなお肌を見放題の触り放題。
Stop being weird. Stop it. Stop being weird.
怪しいお注射で自由を奪って
Don't
私だけの
say
専属メイ
that.
ドに。
Oh God! Don't say things like that.
ありがとうござい
Ugh.
ました。今のを見てただけで風邪が治りました。失礼します。げっこり。
Yeah, like I am in favor. Please just kill this man next.
わったったった前原さん、冗談です。さあ座って診察させてください。聴診器を当てますから前原さんのすべすべのお胸を見せてください。
For some reason, I felt really relieved. After that insane night, as much as I thought everything had gone crazy, Coach was still here doing the same thing he always did, creeping me the fuck out.
風邪ではないようですね。むしろ全身の擦り傷や切り傷の方が痛々しいくらいです。ひょっとして半袖半ズボンで藪の中に入って遊びましたか？切り傷から破傷風菌が入った可能性もないとは言えませんし。
As I was chasing that man last night, I had been scraped by bits of trees. I didn't realize I'd had so many cuts.
昨日のお祭りではしゃぎすぎましたね。若いというのはいいことです。
And once again, I apparently went to the
監督
festival.
も行ったんですよね。お祭り。
ええ、もちろんですよ。私こう見えても綿流しの実行委員会の役員ですからね。
俺に会いましたか?
The coach was the same coach that I'd always known, and I felt like I could trust him more than my weird friends, so I... What?! Why do you feel like you can trust this guy who wants to feel you up than your friends who have been... Oh my god, Keiichi Maebara, I'm gonna fucking suplex you through a train.
実は私、本部テントでずっと会長さんたちとお酒を飲んでたんで、全然お祭りは見て回ってないんですよ。前原さんには会ってないと思います。
そうですか。
変わった質問をしましたね。ひょっとして今日寝不足ですか？いけませんよ。成長期はよく食べよく寝て育つんですから。
Coach let out a laugh. He didn't laugh in an unnatural way like me on a Renaded. Coach was okay. He was the coach from the world I knew. He wasn't someone from the abnormal world.
こんな話きっと変だと思うんですけど、笑わないで聞いてほしいんです。
ええ、どうぞ。思春期のシャイな悩み、大いに歓迎ですよ。
Stop being weird.
俺とウリ二つな人間がいる。
That's not a medical condition, KG! I need to go to the doctors for my identical twinitis. It flares up every now and again, and then there's another me. It's fucking weird, man. Coach hadn't expected that question at all and couldn't say anything for a moment. Sometimes I just split into two. Then he smiled calmly and quietly answered.
迷信ですが、世界には自分と全く同じ顔をした人があと2人いるなんて話を聞いたことがあります。
That's a possibility.
いるならぜひお会いしてみたいものですが。あと、おとぎ話にも自分の分身が登場する話がいろいろありますよ。ドイツのおとぎ話に出てくるドッペルのお化けなどは有名です。
ドッペルのお化け？
ええ、自分の姿に瓜二つなんだそうです。不幸の前触れなんだそうで、これに遭ってしまうと近いうちに死んでしまうみたいな話らしいですよ。
Fantastic! When you meet them, you're sure to die soon. The story ended directly in death, plain and simple, and it made my spine tingle. Coach wasn't saying it to scare me, though. He was just offering a casual anecdote, but that made me feel all the more real.
ひなみ沢に出るなんて話はありますか?
Side effects of identical twinitis include possible death.
ええ? さて、どうでしょう。
Coach must have thought he was being teased, so he laughed in an exaggerated way. But when I didn't smile along with him, his laughter steadily grew fainter.
ちょっと真面目な話のつもりだったんで。
いえ、こっちこそ笑ってすみませんでした。何か気になることでも終わりですか?
I wondered if I should tell him. Then, after resolving myself one final time, I slowly spoke.
昨日はお祭りに行っていないんです。
そうでしたか。お祭りは来年もあります。その時また。
Yeah, there you go. Then you can just go next year.
そうじゃなくて、俺は祭りに行っていないのに、みんなが言うには、俺は祭りにいたらしいんですよ。こんなことってあるんですか?
After blinking his eyes in amazement, Coach thought seriously about what I was trying to say, and he answered, choosing his words carefully.
お話を整理しますね。つまり前原君は綿流しのお祭りに行ったけど、その記憶がない。
No, I don't remember it. I was murdering somebody. So how would... Come on, Doc. You gotta help me out here. I was trying to say something completely different, but I suppose any sane person would have come to that conclusion. That night, Keiichi Maebara was actually at the festival, but I was saying I didn't go. Yeah, that obviously meant my memories of going had failed me. But that was absolutely impossible. That vivid act I had committed during the downpour couldn't possibly have been an illusion. All these scrapes on my body prove it. So does the fact that the bat wasn't in the locker.
違うんです、監督。俺は本当に祭りに行っていないんです。
気を悪くしないでくださいよ、前原さん。前原さんにはこれまでに気づいたら見知らぬ場所にいたとか、そういう記憶の欠落を経験されたことがありますか？
ないです。それに記憶を失ったとかそういうのじゃない。だってその祭りの時間には
I was definitely doing
ましたから。
something else.
寝てて意識がなかったとかそういうのじゃありません。
その用事は間違いなく、大変失礼ですが、何かの思い込みでなく。
間違いありません。完全にはっきりとした記憶、いや事実です。
お祭りの時間に神社にいなくて、よそで別の用事をしていた。それをはっきりした形で証明できますか？
That's right. Thinking it through brought me to this. There was only one way to prove that I really wasn't at the festival yesterday, and that was to show that there was no doubt I had killed her uncle. Coach saw me struggling to answer, and his eyes looked a little cold. I guess they would. After all, from Coach's perspective, I was just a weirdo sputtering nonsense.
少し横になりましょうか。心を落ち着けて楽にしましょう。
別に横になりに来たわけじゃありません。遠慮します。
少し神経に高ぶりがあるようです。鎮静剤を注射して少し目をつむってみませんか？
I'm like, let's go to sleep for a while. Let's just sleep it off. That'll be fine.
それで
俺は異常者じゃない。
I realized Coach was treating me like a deviant, so I raised my voice.
気に障ったなら謝ります。ですからどうか落ち着いて。
俺は絶対に祭りには行っていない。それは本当に間違いないんです。
分かってます。分かってますから、どうか落ち着いて深呼吸を。
あんたは全然分かっていない。
Coach was stunned and stared in stupefaction.
分かっていますよ、前原さん。あなたは昨日はお祭りに来なかった。そうですよね。私は信じます。信じますよ。
Coach jotted down a brief note in his records. He was writing it in German, so that was that his patient didn't know what it said. But I could make a good guess as to what he
あの
wrote.
時間に何をしていたか全部話さないと信じませんか？
いいえ、信じますから。どうか座ってください。
Before I sat, I tilted my head back a little. The blood in my face all drained out and quieted down. After taking a deep breath, I made sure that I was calm now.
俺が祭りの会場にいることはありえない。
Oh boy.
なぜなら
What are you gonna do, Keiichi? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna confess? Who thinks he's gonna confess? Because if there's anybody that he might be safe confessing to, it's probably Irie. He's gonna bust talk. Oh no. Should I tell him or not? I really didn't want to go on living like this, feeling this horrible. And I said the final fatal words.
聡子の王子を殺していたからです。
He just did it! He just did it! I could smell the concrete in the room. I could feel the air around us sharpen. Nobody moved. Only the sound of the clock ticking told us that time hadn't stopped. With his mouth wide open, Coach even forgot to blink for a little while.
あなたが聡子ちゃんのおじさんを。
Yeah. It's fine now, Keiichi Maebara. Don't hesitate. Admit it with all your
は
strength.
い。俺が昨日の夜殺しました。
If there is anybody that would help him in this situation, it's got to be Irie. But also, his friends trying to give him an alibi and his dumbass not realizing it. I spoke clearly and fluidly. I could easily tell that Coach's mind had gone completely blank.
どうしてそんなことを。
I mean, why wouldn't you?
いえ、それは愚問ですね。
聡子を救う最も直接的な方法だと考えるに至り実行しました。後悔はわずかもありません。
そうですか。
Coach smiled thinly and
だ
nodded
か
a
ら俺
bit.
は
So I couldn't.
祭りの会場にいる
Yeah,
わ
so
け
I
がないん
couldn't
で
visit
す。
the festival. Yeah, that's right. I left the brightness of my house with the darkness for the darkness outside. After that, I dug holes, made phone calls, had my hands full, and then I attacked him, killed him, and buried him. It was pouring hard at the time. The festival started that evening, but was suspended due to the rain. There were no gaps in my memories. From the late afternoon until it started to rain, there was no time for me to possibly have gone to the festival.
その体中の傷はその時に。
そうです。聡子の家を少し行ったところに林道がありますよね。
He sure just created the first part of, that first part he was trying to avoid the whole time of, of the perfect crime not having a beginning. He's certainly giving it a beginning.
あそこで襲い逃げるあいつを追い町に至る一本道で殺すに至りました。
それは本当に。
Killing your uncle, it wasn't some wild fantasy. I could tell the coach didn't believe me, so I spoke slowly, not letting myself grow excited.
サトシのバットで、そのバットはあいつが乗ってきたバイクと一緒に沼に捨てました。死体は殺した場所に穴を掘り埋めました。すべて自分が一人でやりました。
聡子ちゃんの叔父はバイクで通りかかったんですね。ではあなたはそれを期待して延々と待ち伏せを。
あいつが家から出ないことは想定していました。だから電話で適当な嘘を喋ってあいつが出かけるように仕向けました。
電話で呼び出した。でもあなたの家と聡子ちゃんの家は離れています。電話をしてからではとても待ち伏せに間に合わないのでは。
We were dropping frames there for a second.
襲撃予定場所から最も近い電話として学校の電話を使いました。
でも前原さん、当日は日曜日です。学校には施錠がされていて入れないのでは。
偶然その時営林署の人が中に出入りしたんです。その隙に入りました。
After that, Coach grilled me on a few different things regarding the incident. He made sure to question me carefully, looking for any contradictions in my account.
信じましょう。あなたが昨日したことは夢とは思えない。
Yeah, like there are literally two things you can't do on a Sunday. You can't buy liquor and you can't murder people. Both are against the law. I explained everything, including minor details that only someone who had actually committed the act could explain. I could, of course. It was only yesterday. Coach realized that my story had no expedient coincidences or too convenient details that would have existed in a daydream or a delusion, and finally seemed to want to
こ
believe
れで
me.
もまだ俺が記憶をなくして祭り会場に行ったと思いますか。
Coach slowly shook his head.
クラスのみんなが昨日確かに俺が祭りにいたと言います。そんなことがありえるでしょうか。
あるわけがない。きっとクラスの皆さんはあなたによく似た誰かとあなたを見間違えた。
Oh no! Your laptop is out of Mion Sonozaki juice.
それに集団心理が働いて皆さんは
Alright, take care,
あなた
June.
がお
Hope
祭
the
りに行くと
Ethernet issue
錯
gets
覚して
fixed
しまってい
soon.
るに違いありません。
Thanks for stopping by. I know you made it as long as you could. I appreciate it. They couldn't have mistaken me. Mion and the rest said that they were spending time with Keiichi Maibara, which was more than just having mistaken someone else for me, but saying that out loud would just confuse Coach. He spoke to me in whispered tones.
罪の意識はあるんですか？
It didn't sound like he was criticizing me. And even if he had, I would have flatly said the same
ありません。
thing.
あいつのいなかった平穏な時間を取り戻すために行いました。だから俺はあいつを殺したことなんかさっさと忘れて、これまで通りに生活するつもりです。あいつが現れる前、聡子がいつも見せてくれたあの笑顔が戻った時、ようやく全ては終わります。
犯行を誰かに目撃されたということは？
ないと思います。目撃されてればもうとっくに逮捕されてるでしょうから。
私は医者です。人の命を救う職にあります。だから私から人間の命を奪うことを肯定する旨の発言はできません。だから私はあなたにこう
So
言います。
instead, I'll say this. GG, no re. Oh no! You are not the person I want all up in my face. Coach slowly rose and placed a hand on my shoulder.
聡子ちゃんを救ってくれてありがとう。
Coach's eyes started shedding warm tears. When I looked up at him, I started to feel some tears of my own. I didn't know what I was crying for, and so, for a little while, the two men in the room fought back their tears.
おかしいんです。
おかしいとは？
確かに殺したはずなのに、あの男は生きて家に帰ったらしいんです。
Coach's expression immediately sharpened.
状況にもよりますが、気絶や仮死状態など素人が見ると死んだようにしか見えない状態もいくつかあります。
I don't know, his head being split open like a cantaloupe. That might be a little more of an indication of death. Having his head spaghetti all over the fucking ground. That might be a little more of an indication of death. Exactly, I'll say this. Poggers.
その可能性は？
脈を取ったわけではありませんが、確実に仕留めたと思います。
前原さんが襲った時の状況を再現してもらってもいいですか？
Coach wrote up a Health and Fitness Week poster nearby and offered it to me to represent the bat. Though I may have been lost to the emotions of the beast that night, I remembered the detail, the number of times I swung the bat, and the angles I had swung from, and the force I had applied. Using Coach as a stand-in for the uncle, I reproduced them over and over, one by one. Yo, we beat Coach with a magazine, and I bet he was totally getting off on it.
脳天にこう叩きつけました。
Yeah, I reduced his head to the consistency of chunky salsa.
その時、これまでとは違った手応えがありました。頭蓋骨が割れたんだと思いました。
Coach was calmly analyzing the information, using the place the knife struck as a situation at hand to find out what state the uncle's body had
そ
been
して
in.
死んだかどうか自信が持てなかったので、倒れた後も何度か殴りつけました。
その時の反応は？
初めは殴るたびに体が跳ねるような感じがありましたが、やがてそれもなくなり、何の反応もなくなりました。
Aren't they though? It's just like, it's really fucking brutal, and they didn't really have to go in explaining it all in all that, in all the detail that Umineko uses to describe death. I've found that Higurashi's deaths are actually quite tame, despite the fact that there is like a visceral element to them. But like, describing somebody being beaten to death with a ball bat strike by strike is pretty rough. Coach folded his arm and said, a few times, and then he spoke.
死んでいます。ほぼ間違いなく。
それは仮死状態ではなく、
前原さんの話からだけではなかなか判断がつきませんが、ほぼ確実だと思います。それに前原さんは死体を泥の中に埋め、結構な時間をかけて埋めていますよね。仮に30分で埋めたとして、その男は 30分間も泥水に沈められていたことになります。それだけの時間、呼吸が止められたら確実に脳死します。
殴った強さ以前に埋める過程で確実に絶命したと。
そういうことです。30分間泥に埋められていて生きていられる人などありえません。
ありえないですよね。でも聡子は生きてると。
Yeah, like that's the hang up here. What's going on? Coach Doctor just gave his stamp of approval that he was dead for sure. That made it seem all the more unfair that he could still be among the living. Jesus Christ. Ugh, allergies make me want to die. What the fuck, dude? Ugh. Give me a moment. I promise I'm not doing these readings from my deathbed, I swear. Coach, the doctor just gave his stamp of approval that he was dead for sure. That made it seem all the more unfair that he could still be among the living.
前原さん、これはとても恐ろしい想像なのですが、前原さんが殺した相手が無事でなく別人である可能性は。
What if he fucked up? That's a oh no! Oh no! He's right. That could be why it cleared up the inconsistency of me definitely having killed someone, but him still being
そんな
alive.
はずはない。だってほら、監督と一緒に聡子の家の前で酒瓶の袋を運んだ時、窓から顔を出した男がいたじゃないですか。あいつですよね、聡子のおじは。
ええ、間違いありませんよ。あの男です。
実はもう一人おじがいるなんてことは。
聞いたことがありません。あの男だけです。
あいつの特徴を教えてもらえますか。
まず身長がですね、175、もう少しあるかもしれません。
In order to eliminate the worst possibility that I'd killed someone else, Coach began to thoroughly compare what that man in his mind looked like with what I told him the person I killed looked like. But no matter how in-depth my descriptions went, none of the characteristics differed. The uncle's traits, according to Coach, were all exactly the same as the person I'd killed. But those traits were all extremely vague, and they weren't particularly distinct at a glance.
もっとこう絶対にあいつだと識別できる特徴はありませんか。
そういえば私は見たことありませんが、聡子ちゃんが昔背中に虎だかなんだかの入れ墨があるなんて言っていたような気がします。
入れ墨。
That was really important. Not everyone had a tattoo. If I found a tiger tattoo on the back of the man's corpse, it would be proof that I killed the right one. At the moment, though, there was one other thing that would verify this: to go to Satoko's house and see for myself that the uncle had then returned home, and despite having died. But that was far more terrifying than digging up the body and look. Really? Going to someone's house is more terrifying than say I need to go dig up the person that I beat to death last night. Where's your head at? Without even looking at the tattoo, I knew for sure the one I'd killed had been Satoko's uncle. I cracked his head open and killed him. And yet, he'd gone back home. There wasn't any misunderstandings or even a show of doubt in my mind about having killed him. And yet, it was impossible for him to exist. Kind of like how Keiichi Maebara had been at the festival despite it being impossible. That small commonality made me feel as though a faint, bizarre force was permeating this insane Hinamizawa.
どういうことなのでしょう。前原さんはお祭りには行かず、聡子ちゃんのおじさんを殺していたにもかかわらず、お祭りにはあなたがいて、そして殺したはずのおじさんも生きている。
何がなんだかさっぱりわからないです。そうやって整理して言うと、まるで俺が悪い夢を見ていて、実は殺人なんて存在しなかったんじゃないかと思えてしまう。でも事実なんです。この手でバットでガツンガツンと殴ったあの感触は絶対に夢や幻なんかじゃないんです。
These are just regular things I tell my doctor all the time. Only you just replace the bat with a tire iron. Coach let out a slow sigh, then after looking at the clock got up.
ちょっとこの話もう少し真剣にやりましょう。ちょっと失礼して紅茶でも入れてきてあげます。
Ah, let's have some tea. Let's have some tea and talk about murder.
診療所も終わりの時間ですからね。ジムの方とかも返してあげないと。
Coach stood up and went out to the hallway, leaving me alone. The clock was about to strike 6. I was at the festival, and the uncle I had killed was alive. Had I really committed murder yesterday? The only whisper of a fact that proved it happened was the absence of the bat in Satoshi's locker. In any case, I was glad the coach had taken my nonsense seriously. I just confessed to murder. Normally, that would frighten a person away, but Coach didn't run. He cried with me. I was glad he did. Like so, my tensions smoothly melted away, and I suddenly realized I really had to urinate. I had to use the restroom while the coach had stepped out. There was one across from the waiting room. As soon as I left the room, I saw Coach and 2 male doctors wearing white clothing standing by in the shadows of the hallway nearby. I didn't particularly intend to eavesdrop or anything, but I was quite surprised upon noticing how uneasy they seemed. I hid behind the wall and quietly listened in. It seemed like Coach was giving directions to the 2 doctors.
紅茶ですね。用意します。
睡眠導入剤を入れて種類は任せます。
Uh-oh.
味はミルクと砂糖でごまかしてください。
急激な眠気に不信感を抱く可能性もあります。興奮状態に陥って暴れ出す可能性も。
その場合は取り押さえましょう。男性スタッフはまだ何人か残ってますか？
山犬が1人。
One mountain
それに
dog.
私たちを含めて3人です。
One mountain dog. What was all this? I think I was already agitated despite what Coach said. What was it? Was it a just casual conversation? And it was slowly sounding unbelievable to me. Coach said he would bring some black tea and left the room, and then, in the shadows, he was telling his subordinates to put some kind of sleeping powder in the tea. Plus, they were getting extra help in case I thought the sudden sleepiness was suspicious and started getting violent. Hey, wait, Keiichi Maibara, calm down, calm down. There's no way something this stupid could be happening. I mean, he was genuinely listening to my story and even cried with me. I thought he was one person in Hinamizawa who would understand. This was...
作り話か虚言の兆候があり、特に昨日の記憶が完全に混乱。虚実の区別の喪失、多重人格等の精神障害に酷似しています。でもこんな急激な精神障害の発症は普通では考えられません。あるいは先天的、もしくは引っ越し前からそういう兆候があったのか。引っ越し前に精神科に通院例がないか調べたいところです。とにかく前原さんには穏便にお休みいただきます。
The two doctors nodded deeply.
前原さんのご両親にも連絡しておいた方が良いですね。何と言えばいいか言葉が思いつきませんが。
Your son's crazy. He committed a murder, but I'm gonna put him to sleep for a little bit. He just needs a nappy. That's all.
彼の自宅の電話番号を調べてください。
My eyes, still moist, began to shed tears once more. This was too cruel. I really thought he had actually understood and had believed what I had told him. But now, from the other side of that wall, he was bluntly treating me like a crazy person. I believed you! I believed you! I had let down my guard because I thought you were the only ally I had left after that insane night. Was that a lie? All that about thanking me on Satoko's behalf? Were you just pretending in order to keep me placated? My tears fell to the floor in frustration. I was an idiot. I was an idiot. Such an idiot for believing that bastard. I heard footsteps approaching the doctor. A man in a dress shirt with no tie came running up.
Irie sensei, 大変です。高野さんが見つかりました。
What's going on?
高野さんが一体どこに？
それが山中で焼死体で発見されたらしく。
死んだ？高野さんがですか？
The men, all surprised, exchanged glances. Dead? Takano-san? Wait. So then, does that mean when I cursed her, wishing for her death, that wish was granted?
焼死とは一体どういうことですか？それは事故ですか？
県警の発表では他殺の可能性が極めて高いと。
As I cried, I laughed quietly. Serves you right. Serves you right. If I hadn't run into that woman, my murder would have been perfect. But she just had to come along driving up to me and tried to coerce me like that. I regretted not having killed her on the spot, but now she was dead anyway. My curse, my wish for her demise, it was fulfilled. Serves you right. Serves you right, bitch!
高野さんが死に。
Risa-san. Why do you know that name? That's very weird that you would know that name. Risa is the name of the person who was murdered at the beginning of this arc. Who was dismembered. So, why do you know that name?
一体ひなみ沢には何が起こっているというんですか？まさかこれが今年のお社様のたたりだなんて言うんじゃないでしょうね。
Like hell I'd let the curse be real, Coach said. Everyone in present just nodded as the coach cursed at no one in particular. Yes, it wasn't Oyashiro-sama, but this definitely is a spell, a curse. I wished for her to die, so she did. If this wasn't just a coincidence and she died because I wished for it, then you'll die next, Coach. You betrayed me. You pretended to believe me, but deep down you thought I was a madman. You looked down on me with all that pity in your eyes.
では、とりあえず紅茶の準備を。紅茶は私が持って入ります。私以外には彼は心を許さないようですからね。
Shit! What do I do? What do I do, Keiichi Maibara? This time I heard the voice of a nurse.
入江先生、あ、いらっしゃいましたか。お電話です。
今ちょっと忙しいので後でかけ直すと伝えてください。誰からです？
沖宮警察の。
What? No, we don't want to talk to him. Oh God! Like, what is all of the worst shit is happening?
悪いタイミングですね。出ます。
Coach left to go answer the phone. The other men headed towards the room with the teapot to make the black tea, like Coach had ordered them to. Fortunately, Coach having to take that phone call meant that there would be extra time for me to act. I had to decide what to do now. Would I let him make me drink the sedative-infused tea or be held down and thrown into a mental hospital? Nothing would come from starting a brawl here. They had more people anyway, and they were all bigger than me. If it come to a fight, I didn't stand a chance in hell. If I couldn't win against them, then there was only one thing left to do. Run! Adrenaline suddenly rushed to my brain and my body, and my body started to move with keen instinct like it had on that night. My surface temperature quickly cooled and the transmission routes between my cells enlarged. Using a 360-degree visual information, I searched for an escape route. Look at this boy. He's a fucking Terminator. I would open the window behind me. Outside was a parking lot. There were no cars. A little beyond there was a bicycle I had taken to get here. I determined that this would be the quickest method of escape. I approached the window swiftly, but with little sound, to raise as little suspicion as I could. With the speed and silence of a shadow, like I had been on the night I had chased her uncle, I looked at the window and opened it up. A cool evening breeze wafted in. I stuck my head out and looked over the parking lot again. Nobody in sight. No need to hesitate. I quietly crawled outside and closed the window behind me. I held my breath and listened carefully. Nobody seemed to have realized I'd run. I looked around, then I jumped onto my bicycle and zoomed away. The pedals clattered underfoot. Had my bike always creaked like this? Did the pedals always whine every time I pushed down on them? My bike wasn't the only thing crying, though. My tears fell as the wind cut through them. They rode the breeze and scattered behind me. I hate this. I hate this. I'm not the crazy one. Hinamizawa is. How dare you treat me like a madman? Die! Die! I just fucking die already! I believed you! I believed you! I'd gone to the hospital in order to escape Rena and Mion's invitation, but the reality that was waiting for me had been too cruel. Who was insane, me or Hinamizawa? Or was the answer something else? I started having trouble breathing. I didn't have any clue as to what was happening anymore. The loud chirps of the Higurashi were irritating me, and where even the Hinamizawa Higurashi I knew so well calling me into the wind. No, that wasn't quite it. They weren't calling, they were crying. The pained wailing of those lost in some kind of rhythm in another world, no longer able to return to their own sunlight. I didn't do all this to end up in a world like that. And actually, at about this time, I might have been having fun with everyone else. Satoko would have gotten her smile back after realizing her uncle would never come home, and she might have shown it to us at our first club meeting in a while. That was the kind of world I wished for. So what was this? Why did I end up in such a strange, ghastly world? Someone I'd killed was living like normal, and I had enjoyed myself at the festival despite not being there. I don't want it. I don't want this strange world. When did it start to go so wrong? When? No matter how much I thought about it, I never understood. I rode swiftly and returned to my home. It had begun to rain during my journey back, and just like yesterday, I was now soaked. But I didn't care about this. But I didn't care about something so trivial right now. The pain I felt in my heart that Coach, the one person I had trusted, was acting so cruelly, was far worse. I had no allies in Hinamizawa anymore. With the naive thought that I sat and wanted my parents to side with me, I stepped up to the front door. Wait, Keiichi, it'll be dark soon. There's something you want to check, right? What do we want to check? Yes. I wanted to... No! Oh, no! I wanted to dig up the man's corpse and get a look at his back. If there was a tiger tattoo there, I would know beyond a doubt that he was Satoko's uncle. That long night wouldn't end until I was certain. If this insane world was all reparation, all of a divine punishment, then I needed to make certain whether I had been successful enough to even deserve to pay that price. I went to the storage room again and got the shovel. Probably around the same time. It had been washed in the rain, but the paint was peeling, making it look unsightly. I never ever wanted to touch this thing again. The sensation of it in my hands was totally different from the night before. There was a ruthless coldness about it. Yeah, it would be dark soon, so I needed the lantern too. There would be a little bit of light in the street lights, but it would get extremely dark. I thought I'd put the lantern here, but I suddenly noticed it wasn't anywhere to be found. Then it hit me like a bolt of lightning. Of course, on that night, I hadn't brought the lantern back with me. That's a little detail I noticed, but I wasn't sure it would come back. We never talked about getting the lantern in the car. I left it at the place I'd buried the body. If I didn't go get it soon, it would get very dark. And then, not only would I be unable to find the spot I buried the corpse, but I wouldn't even be able to find the lantern itself. If that happened, it was all over. Alright, we're going to take like a 5-minute break. We'll be right back. Everybody get up, stretch out a little bit, and then we'll cruise into the end of this chapter. So we'll be right back. Alright, we're back. How's everybody doing? Ready to finish out this chapter? This chapter that is sure to have a very good ending, I think. I think it's gonna be fine. We just need to go to the grave. Make sure that there's a tiger on the back, and we're good. We're home free, everybody. We just got to make one final confirmation. That's it. All right, let's go. In order to fit the shovel in the basket on the front of my bike, I needed to twist it and disassemble it. But it looked like there was dirt in the joints, so no matter how hard I pushed it, it didn't want to come apart. After strenuous effort, I realized I couldn't get it apart. I decided to hold it in one hand and ride my bike with the other. This was a real good plan last time, Keiichi. It wasn't suspicious or weird at all. God damn it. Give me a second. Work phone call. Sorry about that. Hey, Polly, how do I do this thing? I don't know. You've only been doing this job 12 years. Figure you'd know how to do that. Yo, Ding, how's it going? We're about to go dig up a body. That's what we're doing. How you doing, Ding? Hope things are well. Hope you're having a good evening. After a strenuous effort, I realized I couldn't get it apart, so I decided to hold it in one hand and ride my bike with the other. Just got home from work. Nice. Nice. Settle in. Have yourself a nice, comfy evening. That is a pretty great emo right there. With the downpour soaking me through, and a shovel in one hand, and riding one-handed, it was as if I had returned to that night. No, return was the wrong word. It was more like the night had never ended. The pain of the raindrops striking me were no different from them. It was like, there's like 2 Thursday songs that really fit this whole arc. I Am the Killer, and The Night Never Ends. It's perfect. The thing that was different was Hinamizawa, the world and nothing else. The rain clouds were absolutely making it dark. The rain clouds were already making it dark, and now is the time for the sun to set. I could tell it was only getting rapidly darker. The straight road leading to town. In the middle of it, that should be where I buried it. Yes! It was near the street light. On that night, too, the water from the downpour was splashing through from the street lights. It overhang like a waterfall. The pouring rain was exactly the same as it had been on that night, and thus it brought my memories into focus. I left my bike in the brush and stepped into the forest, the ground already soaked with mud. Time to make an ARC playlist. Yeah, definitely. Where had I buried him? Think. The darkness, the shadows, the water, the mud. Everything was the same. Think. And then I spotted the lantern by the fallen moss-covered tree. That's right, I left it right there. I left the lantern here, then I would have buried him over here. With the sensation of standing in the sludge, my feet remembered the spot better than my eyes did. I plunged my shovel into the ground. It's hard. It wasn't here. I just dug it up. I just dug it up so it would have to have been softer. I stick my shovel down in a few spots to test what they feel like. One of them clearly felt deeper. I recalled where the lantern was, where the trees and things were in relation to each other, and knew that it had to be here. Under here slept a man's corpse. There would definitely be the tattoo of a tiger on his back, but if it wasn't there, then I had made a horrible mistake and killed someone completely unrelated instead. I would be more dazed at the fact that Satoko's uncle wasn't dead than I would regret having gotten someone else mixed up in this. And if this insane world was punishment of the sin of committing murder, I wouldn't be able to accept it until I'd killed Satoko's uncle for good. And then, without any fear, I'd attack him again. And that time, I would kill him for sure. But what if the tattoo was there? That would mean I'd killed Satoko's uncle. But that would mean But that would be terribly strange. If I had killed her for sure, then who was the uncle at Satoko's house this very moment? If what I remember happens here, oh man, this is going to be real tense. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of tension. Impossible. I didn't even know anymore what I was using the word impossible to refer to. I've used the word quite a few times today. If I had to make the words impossible fit just one thing, what would it be? That much was obvious to me. I shouted, then turned behind me. There was nobody there, of course. It hadn't been bothering me for a while, but those footsteps had followed me this entire day. Even just now, an extra set of footsteps had splashed up behind me. No one was actually there. No indications of anyone even. But there they were. They were there. That's right. Thinking back, the first time I heard those footsteps was after Takano-san and I had parted. Those footsteps were my welcome into this strange inside-out world. No one could be here. I'd get no response. Whoever it was, they'd just keep staring at me. It wasn't ominous, just unpleasant. After staring into empty space for a bit, as I bathed in the rain, my illogical anger slipped away. My tension loosened, and a tired feeling reared its head. I tasted this feeling that night too. The sudden exhaustion I felt as the tension in my brain loosened. My vision quickly narrowed, and I felt like everything around me had suddenly gotten darker. I couldn't give in to this sensation. I would light what little explosives were left in my brain and force myself to keep going. I needed to dig that man up before my stamina ran out. I needed to see the tattoo on his back. I caught my suddenly ragged breath and calmed down. Then I stuck the shovel into the soft, muddy ground again. It felt exactly the same as that night. The sense of digging a hole in a beach with water coming into it with every wave. What day was today? Had I gone back to the night of Watanagashi? Every strange thought had come to mind and tormented me. Given my exhaustion, I didn't think I could manage to hold those thoughts back. Once the hole was deep and illumination finally faded, blackening my vision jet black. It was probably the moment the sun had finally set too. That night I had feared the worst. That night I had feared the worst and gone without using much light. My senses were so strained that I could see even in that darkness, but now I didn't have that kind of strength left. I drained everything I had last night, and now that darkness would be lethal. I decided to turn on the lantern. Putting it on the first setting would make it give off a faint light. Even with how little there was, it was enough, and people wouldn't be able to see it from far away in the rain. I grabbed the chilled lantern, turned the dial with a click, and set it to its weakest light setting, and turned it on. An uncanny world of silhouettes appeared before me. A complex and strange shadowy world created by the intricate entanglement of trees and branches. I had only turned on a light, and it was like that was all it took to make the world into something else. I let out a quick, tired breath and wiped the liquid, neither rain nor sweat, from my brow. I then raised the shovel in the air and slammed it into the mud. That moment, the silhouettes surrounding me ominously all moved at once. Inside my head, something packed in there, something coarse but not hot or cold, was loudly rushing about. The silhouettes were all around me, looking down at me, and one of them, a silhouette bigger than the others, stepped forward.
Konbanwa.
Hi. Hi. Konbanwa. Hi, everybody! Good evening! Best possible outcome! Everybody say hi! Boy, this got good. Oh, boy. Hi. Hi there, cop. How's it going? Hey! The coarseness in my brain shot through my whole spine and left me at my waist. The strength of my body all left me through my hips, and I crouched down with a splash in the sea of mud I dug myself. Hey, how are you?
目上の人にはその後に3もつけるとなおよろしいかと思いますよ。そうでないと大人になってからいろいろと苦労します。
Oh, he's so good. It wasn't only Oishi, but 5 or 6 of them in a row, men wearing raincoats. I had no inkling that this many people had gotten so close. It was like once I turned on the lantern, they just reappeared. They just appeared there, sliding out of the shadows.
どうぞ。私たちのことは気にしないでく
ださい。Oh no, go right ahead. Keep on digging. Let's see what you got. What's your treasure? I want to see it.
森の木立だとでも思って。
Don't mind them?
そうです。私たちのことは気にされず、どうぞ穴掘りをお続けになってください。こんな時間にこんな土砂降りの中でそんなにも真剣にやっているんですからね。邪魔なんかしませんよ。心ゆくまで掘っちゃってください。
No thank you, I said. When I tried to get up and turn around, 2 men blocked that route. They stood on either side of me and lifted me up with amazing strength, then threw me into the sea of mud. As I soaked in the mud bath I dug for myself, I looked up at the silhouettes looking down at me. Oishi squatted, picked up my shovel, and threw it at my feet for me. It bounced loudly off the mud and hit me in the face. God damn.
ほら、続きをどうぞ。続きを。
I couldn't bear the oppressiveness of the silhouettes surrounding me, and slowly I stuck the shovel into the mud again. I felt like I was digging my own grave. Well, there you go. There you go, Taylor. You're not wrong. If I kept digging, it wouldn't matter whether there was a tattoo or not, because there was a man's corpse would appear eventually. It was all over, surrounded on all sides and nowhere to go, but I just couldn't figure it out, no matter how much I thought about it. Why were they here? Was it Takano-san? There was only one person who could have made the connection between me and this place. Shit, I knew it. She deserved to die. Oishi kicked me in the back, which took me by surprise, sending me flying into the mud.
ちゃっちゃと掘っちゃってくださいよ。雨の中で待たされる方の身にもなってほしいもんです。
くそ。
Oh boy, get in the mouth on him.
そんなに雨が嫌なら帰ればいいだろう。
Oishi kicked some mud in my face.
口より先に手を動かしてください。
Wow.
口と手を一緒に動かすのは落語家だけ。
Oh wow, that's good. The men around him didn't react, not knowing quite whether they should laugh, but when Oishi glared at them, they stared, mumbling out pained chuckles. Just who was this guy? I knew the world had changed after that night, but if I went even further back, didn't it start when this guy showed up? That was when our peaceful days had been taken from us. Ever since he showed up in Hinamizawa, things have been odd. Everyone stopped smiling and the world went crazy. The ground under my feet gradually got harder and heavier. At this point, even I started to think something was odd. I hadn't buried him this deep on that night, had I? My exhaustion peaked and I sat down on the spot.
掘ればいいんだよ。
最近の若い人は体力がありませんね。おい。
At Oishi's gesture, the men all pulled out their own sinister-looking shovels. As I watched the daze, one of them grabbed my collar, dragged me out of the hole, and threw me onto the ground. The rest of the men stepped into the hole I dug and started shoveling themselves. Oh, good. As I stared at them, dumbfounded, Oishi sauntered over and squatted down to look at me directly.
前原圭一さん、あなたの趣味は雨の夜の穴掘りですかね。
What if it is? Cop. Huh? Cop? What if I like digging holes? Cop. I really like Dig Dug. Cop. When I didn't respond, Oishi took one of the tin buckets they were using to bail out the muddy water, scooped up some of it, and splashed the whole thing in my face. Jesus! What a dickhead! He is such a dick!
今日は大雨ですから。これ以上いくら濡れても全然わかりませんね。
Oishi smiled to himself, then scooped up another bucket full of muddy
もう
water.
一回聞きますね。あなたの趣味は雨の夜の穴掘りですかな。
そんな趣味のやついるもんか。
Splash. Oishi hit me with another bucket full of muddy water. The pebbles in it stung.
あの穴を掘ると何が出てくるんですか。
I don't know. Probably not. Maybe. I wouldn't know it. I don't even know what holes are.
ここ掘れワンワンってのが昔から憧れでしてね。
Yeah, exactly. Puppy digging in his yard for gold. As he spoke, he ran the bucket through the muddy water again. Splash in my face again.
あそこにどんな宝物が埋まってるんですかね。私にちょっとだけでも教えてくれませんか。
If you want to know, then dig on your own time. You fucking pig! You fucking pig! There you go. That's what I want to see. You went to set up some food, and of course, yeah. He came upon our little operation of coming back to look at the body. We turned on the lantern, and he was here. Fantastic, right? I wasn't saying that out loud, but Oishi mercilessly drenched me in muddy water yet again anyway. Shit. If only you hadn't shown up, the world wouldn't have gone wrong. Ever since you showed up, things have been strange. Satoko got abused by her uncle, I ended up killing him, and the world went crazy. He was how it all began, because of this culprit. He splashed another bucket of mud in my face. My insides were seething with anger. Die, you. Die too. If I had some strange power to kill someone by cursing them, like with Takano-san, then you're dead. And it won't be Oyashiro-sama's curse, it'll be mine. I'll curse you and kill you.
反抗的な目つきですね。これを機に少しそのあたりをお勉強してしまいましょうか。今は平和な時代ですがね。私があなたくらいだった頃は何でも鉄拳制裁が普通でして。
おいさ。
One of the digging men in raincoats wiped some sweat off and called Oishi over. Oishi tossed the bucket away and then turned around with an evil grin on his face.
はいはい、何でしょうか。
これを見てください。
Acceptance or maybe resignation. I wanted to say to them, so you blockheads finally found it. That's what I say when somebody discovers my crime. Gosh darn you freaking blockheads! Yeah, that's right. I'm the one who killed him. But you're the police, so it's your job to figure out who he is, right? Come on, prove to me that he's really Satoko's uncle.
何ですかこりゃ。
多分古い排水管ではないかと。あそこの用水路につながっているようです。
ぶっ壊しちゃいましょうか。どうせ使ってない缶でしょ。
The men all exchanged glances and hesitantly broached another
おいさ、
topic.
もうかなり手応えが固いです。これより深くってことはありえないと思います。
掘る場所を間違えました。
いえ、初めのうちは明らかに掘り返す感触でした。ですが、このくらいを掘った頃から急に硬くなりまして、多分もともと掘った穴よりも深く掘り進んだのだと思います。
じゃあつまり何ですか。ここには穴があって 何もなく、ただそのまま埋め直されたと。皆さん、そうおっしゃるわけで。
What? What were they talking about?
こりゃ参ったな。ねえ、前原さん。
Oishi grabbed my collar and dragged me to the huge hole they dug. The mud inside was like an ocean, and I couldn't see any drain pipe down there. One of the men stirred it with a shovel, letting me hear it clang against something hard. There was no doubt I'd buried him right here. But I hadn't buried him this deep. I didn't dig deep enough to unearth the entire drain pipe. So, then, this man, his corpse, where was it? Proof that I had been successful on that night was gone. Gone! Then what on earth was I... Was I actually crazy after all and just possessed by the delusion that I had killed someone? That couldn't be. It was the unmistakable truth. It couldn't have been a hallucination. But now, the most important evidence that it had been an illusion was gone. I killed him. I buried him. I had absolute, unwavering confidence in that fact. Then, did I fail to kill him? After I left here, he just started breathing again, crawled out, and gone back to Satoko's house? Was that it? I had come here to see whether he had a tattoo or not, and yet the truth I unearthed was far more than that. Yesterday, what was I? I killed him. I buried him. There was no doubt. But for some reason, he lived and crawled back out. And that was impossible too. I'm so tired of hearing the word impossible over and over. You're tired of the headache? It's like you got beat with the shovel, it sounds like. Keiichi did find the wrong person. Dead people don't like to play by the rules here in Hinamizawa. Then I'll kill you as many times as I need to. I'll keep killing you until you never show your face to Satoko again. Oishi and the others were muttering to each other. Eventually their conversation ended and Oishi came toward me. What did he want to say? What did he want to do? I stiffened, tensing up, and then Oishi just ignored me like I wasn't even there and passed right by me. The other men too. They ignored me and shuffled away. Eventually there was no longer a sign that anyone was around, and I returned to my quiet world of silhouettes. The only one left here was me. Only the sound of the pouring rain filled up the silence. So, what happened? Inquiry requests and record of malice are the tips that we have to go with. We're going to do the tips now, Jetstorm, so if you want to go get yourself going live, by all means, feel free to. And then we'll toss things over to you once we're done reading the tips and bopping out for the night. Yeah, like literally, what's happening here? Like, where'd our body go? Anybody have... I want some guesses in chat about what happened to the body because, oh, it's so weird that it's just not there now. But maybe these tips will help us out. An inquiry request. Okinomiya Police Station Command Center transmission recording. June 20th, 8:08 p.m.
こちら沖宮 PS 感度良好です。
車両ナンバー紹介をお願いします。獅子骨歯の4344。
副将獅子骨歯の4344。少々お時間もらえますがよろしいですか？
お願いします。
Number match. Shishibone H4344. Owner. Address. Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone. Vehicle make and model. Theft reports, none. Special mentions, nothing of note.
沖宮 PS より大石社どうぞ。先ほどのナンバーが判明しました。大石社どうぞ。 おいしゃ、応答願います。あれ？電波悪いのかな。おいしゃ、応答願。出ませんね。
大石さんが車両紹介？誰の車だよ。
村人の車ですね。至って平凡な。
何者だよ。大石さんが聞いてくるからにはただものじゃないんだろ。
突起事項欄は完全に空欄ですね。S 号指定もなし、減点もなしだし。
パッシングでもされて腹が立ったんじゃないの？あの人根に持つとなかなか忘れないタ
Well,
イ
you
プな
can
んだよ。
say that again. Oishi is not one to let go of a grudge. Weird. So a license plate 4344. I think I might know who that license plate belongs to. Record of malice. He said it smelled. He said the food smelled. He said it smelled because I smelled. He said I smelled because I don't take baths. He said He said to take baths 3 times a day because I was a smelly person. He said I had to stay in the bath for a long time every time. He must be possessed by something too. This is the same thing the man who died said. Why does he know what that man said before? That much is obvious. The same thing that possessed that man is now possessing him. Can't a sudden earthquake make a big hole in front of the house? If it did, he would definitely go and look into it. And then I just have to push him in. I won't give in until I get that chance. I won't give in. I won't cry. I won't give in. I won't cry. Ah, someone is apologizing again. Big think. Big think. All right. So that is going to wrap it up for tonight. We are wrapping up Tatarigoroshi in its entirety tomorrow night. We will be starting at around 6 p.m. Eastern, just to make sure we've got enough time to finish before it gets too late. So tune in then, and we'll see the happy ending that we've worked so hard for.